So that is how you groove in the club. I saw you.
Right. So I'm doing my little two-step. I started.
That's you in the club, a little two-step.
Yeah,
Okay,
little
okay,
two-step.
okay. That's how you do it. All
Right.
right, cool. I
Right.
was
That's
wondering.
how I
So
do
okay,
it.
so you're not gonna hit that Soldier Boy. That's too much for you.
Man, I ain't hitting that soldier boy. I had to be drunk to hit that soldier boy. And I don't drink, But if I was a drinker like I was in college, who knows what I might do.
Stinky leg.
I'm probably not into the stinky leg. Nah, that's
I love
crazy.
that dance.
I know, man. I kind of feel bad. I remember my son was young. I don't even know why I'm telling this story because it was one of them stories that I really look back
Hmm.
on it now. Like, man, I wish I wouldn't have did that. But
Hmm.
I was younger then, and my
Hmm.
son was young then. Now my son is like he's 22 now, so
Hmm.
this was a long time ago. But I went to his mom's house one day, his grandmother's house,
Hmm.
and he said, "Dad, I want to show you something. I got a new dance I can do." And he started doing the stanky leg, and I hit him in his stomach, man. I was like,
Oh
"Man, don't
my
be doing."
God.
I'm like, "Don't be doing that, bro. That's soft. Like we don't do that." And
You done
yeah,
traumatized the young
yeah,
man.
yeah. I know I did. It's unfortunate, but
Oh my gosh. He
it
just
is
wanted to
what it is.
dance. How old was
I
he?
know. He had to be like 7 or 8. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
I like that's too like I was really, like I'm not finna have a homosexual child. He ain't
From
finna
the
be
stinky
soft.
leg?
Yeah, man, I ain't want to take no chances.
Wow.
I know, like I said, it ain't something that I'm proud of. Like I look
Well, at
back
least
at
you're
it
honest
now.
about that.
I look back
Wow,
at it now and be like, I probably should have just let him do his dance. But it is what it is now.
man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, story time is over.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah,
get
yeah.
into
I got
it.
1,000 stories.
We know because it kind of went left to the last live towards
Right,
the end there. So we know you got stories.
right, right.
We're not so sure if they're best suited for this platform, but we know
Well,
you
they all
got
they all in truth, so maybe somebody can take that and learn from it. Learn from my mistakes. Maybe
which
you
is
can.
true.
Sometimes there'll be things that are positive. If you can take it and learn from it, then
Mhm.
it's good for you.
Right, you guys are going to get right into it because the coaching carousel is finally hit that stop. All vacancies are filled, although it hasn't been like officially announced. I think if Clint Kubiak's going to go to the Raiders, that's the expectation, I believe.
Yes.
But we won't really know, I think, for certain until after the Super Bowl. I'm going to say, no, I'm going to go out there and say he's going to go there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Win
yeah.
or lose,
I
that's
think
the
it's
way.
safe.
Yeah. So you got Mike McCarthy, Pittsburgh, Clint Kubiak, potentially Raiders. Uh, uh, Give me some of the names. I'm forgetting some people. Joe Brady, the Bills. You have Jeff for the Dolphins.
Jeff
Uh,
Hadley.
yeah,
Yeah,
Jesse Minter, Ravens, right?
yeah.
Kevin Stefanski is now with the Falcons. Who else am I missing?
Got
Arizona.
Matt LaFleur is with Arizona.
Oh yeah, the brother, right? Yeah, he's
No, no,
Arizona.
he ain't no brother.
That's not his brother, no?
No, you said his brother. Yes, his brother.
Yeah.
I thought
No,
you
not
said
a
a
brother.
brother.
Not
Nah,
like
nah,
Marcello.
ain't no
Not
brothers
that
getting no
kind of
head
brother.
coaching jobs. Right.
No, no, not our kind of brother.
Right. Nah,
But
not our kind of
somebody's
brother.
brother.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Somebody's brother
So,
though.
okay. I was like, wait, they're not related? Hold up. Okay. And then who else am I missing? I'm missing somebody. Robert Sala.
And Todd
In
Munkin
the
in
sea. And
Cleveland.
then Todd Monkey, yes. Well, Shador.
Right.
Hey, hey, hey.
Right. Right.
Perfect timing. Mhm.
Yeah,
All right.
hopefully
So
we'll see.
we're gonna see. Try to draft your ass. He seemed very excited. So we're gonna see. Um, but all jokes aside, though, it's very glaring. There was not one black coach that was hired. And you've been watching it longer than me. So what are your thoughts on it before I say anything?
Well, the problem starts at the top. And the problem really is there are no minority owners. There's no diversity when it comes to owning football teams.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can see that okay, it's a problem, but really that's a matter of perspective. The
Mm-hmm.
NFL is a business, and their whole point is to make money. And they've continued to turn a profit, a huge profit, over the past 8 to 9 years. They've been making money. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Until they start looking money, when people in business start looking money, that's when they start looking at, why am I losing money? Let's improve on this area right here. We losing. A business might say, stuff is getting stolen out the store. We're losing some of our stock. Okay, then they put parameters in to stop people from stealing. If, whatever they think the problem is, they'll go in and fix it. But when you're making billions of dollars every year, and it's not showing no sign that business is not booming, then why am I gonna change anything? So, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's not really a problem if you look at it from their perspective.
To me, I find it. I mean, we did have black coaches, though. Aaron Glenn being one. He still got to keep his job. Amen.
Yes.
So so they're all
Temporarily.
black coaches that are being hired. But it is a bit alarming in the sense that the NFL, most of the talent is predominantly African American. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of the millions are made off of the backs of black people. It's been that way for quite some time. So when a lot of the black players retire, they move on. And some don't want to come back and coach. Some want to just go on and enjoy their life. But for those that do come back, that do want to coach, they never get a chance, or more times than not, or so it seems, or should I say, get as many opportunities as those who are white. And I
Right.
don't want to make it like, oh no, this is like a white versus black thing, or all the owners are racist. I'm not trying to say that, but I'm just looking like, why is that? Because it's not as if, like you said, like, you're making money. You know what I mean? You're making money for the talent. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
is it that you think that the talent is can't they don't have the IQ to then move past just like being bronze. You know what I mean? Just being like, physical, and just being like, it's like a dumb jock, so to speak, right? You see guys in
Right.
school, particularly when they're athletes, it's like, oh, he's handsome, or he's nice body, but he's dumb as hell. You know what I mean? Is it is it that you think that athletes can't make good head coaches? Like, they don't have, I don't know, I think one of the things that I forgot what coach what or owner was. I think it was the Bills. And Pagula was saying that he wanted a CEO, like for a head coach.
Right.
I'm not sure if everybody feels the same way, but I'm just using it as an example. Do you not feel that someone black can be a head coach? Because I'm like, out of all the coaches, out of all opportunities, I'm like, there was nobody who was credible enough, who had the resume or the experience or the know-how to fill one of the vacancies.
But you gotta understand, the owners are racist.
You think they all are, period.
Yes, and it ain't got nothing to do with bigotry. I want to
Mhm.
make sure that we separate the term racism from bigotry. Bigotry is like KKK. Like, we don't like
Mhm.
you because of the color of your skin, and we don't
Mhm.
want to fool with you. That's
Mhm.
bigotry.
Mhm.
Racism has to do with capitalism, and just by the simple fact that you have capitalism, you have racism is a built-in component to capitalism. So
Mhm.
yes, the owners are racist. That's why they don't. It's about making money.
So you
Can't,
saying they feel they can't make money with somebody being a black head coach?
clearly, if they felt like they can make more money with blacks being head coaches and things of that nature, they would have more black head coaches. This goes way beyond the football field. This goes to
True. I agree with that.
going to you got to go to the golf courses. You got to hang with these people. You got to have means.
Mhm.
This is like Pakula said. I want a CEO. I want somebody who can be the face. Most fan bases in the NFL are white. There's a couple cities, maybe Washington, DC with the Commanders, maybe
Mhm.
Atlanta, but other than that, your fan base is gonna be majority white. That's just the truth of the matter. So unless, like, black people, a lot of black people are complaining about a lack of black head coaches. Okay, I'm with you on that. But unless we're gonna stop watching football and put a dent in their pocket, then we might as well stop complaining, because we're gonna keep watching the product, we're gonna keep buying merchandise, we're gonna keep buying concessions, we're gonna keep paying for parking. They're gonna make another $1 billion a piece. And what's the issue at that point? It's the same thing when Colin Kaepernick was going through his thing. Now I stopped watching football, but a lot of people didn't stop watching football because at the end of the day, they understand that they got you, regardless of what they do. So I mean, it ain't really, it is what it is. And then we even go a little bit further. A lack of black offensive coordinators.
I was gonna get there, yeah, but I'm glad you brought it up.
Okay.
Continue.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these teams now want to develop young quarterbacks, come up with offensive schemes. Now this is where I like, we get into the are they smart enough? Because at one point there were a lack of black quarterbacks in the league. They didn't know, can he make decisions fast? Can he perform under pressure? Can he be a black quarterback? Okay, we didn't solve that. We didn't put that theory to rest. We didn't debunk that. Okay, now it's like, can he be creative enough to develop a quarterback? Can he scheme? Can he come up with plays? Can he come up with a system? Can he play call and all those type things? Even though there are a lot of offensive coordinators who don't call plays and have gotten jobs, so all the black coordinators are mostly on the defensive side. So and the black coaches that get head coaching jobs, they're Todd Bowles, D'Amico Ryans,
Yeah, defense. Yeah.
those guys are defensive guys. Aaron Glenn, defensive
So
guys.
do you think that there are more black offensive coordinators that be more black head coaches ultimately?
Not necessarily, because at the end of the day, the people at the top doing the hiring are all white. And I'm gonna say this, and it might be controversial, and some people might not take it lightly, but a lot of those people think that if you have a white overseer to black labor, you can get things done. And that goes all the way back 400, 500 years. And yeah, you always had a couple black, people who ran the slaves. You already had a couple of those guys, they put in place to keep the slaves in line and whatnot. But even outside of football, and you can go into any, and unfortunately, a lot of black people think this way too. I don't care if it's your job at Walmart. I don't care if you work at the tie shop or wherever. A lot of people feel like you get the best out of black labor if there's a white overseer. And unfortunately, black people lure it that way too, because you can go to a place where there's a white guy manager, the black guys give you 100% of the effort. But if it's a black woman or a black guy manager, they feel like they can get away with stuff. They don't have to be as sharp. They don't have to be as on time. They don't have to, they can cut corners here and there. And it's an issue. It's a mentality issue that we have to change as a people. And if we want them to change as a people, we got to start with ourselves. But they also have to change that ideology that black people will do their best work if they have a white overseer. For some reason, black people have gotten programmed to where they idolize these people. They look at them as gods. They look at them as the leaders. So it is, and the NFL gonna keep making money under that ideology. And until they stop making money, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I mean, people want to be entertained. People love sports, so they're going to come and they're going to watch regardless. Even if it's the backup QB is in there, they're still going to come fill the stands for the most part. That's because, like you said, people want to watch sports, want to be entertained. But just thinking about the offensive coordinators who typically are white, and then defensive coordinators who more times than not than black. And I think about the guy just got hired from the Packers, who was a QB like a couple of years ago. And he goes from being QB, to Packers, and then now, there to the Eagles. And I'm thinking to myself, now if someone's qualified, like I told you when we first discussed it, I'm like, I'm not mad at the hire. You know what I mean? I like when coaches were players because I feel like there's like a relatability there, a connection, understanding, and things of that nature. But you haven't really been in that seat that long. Right. And I think about some other coaches that I'm pretty sure are there, assistant coaches, defensive coordinators, assistants, whatever. I'm like, there has to be somebody, I feel like, like that was qualified enough to be a head coach. And
Right.
more times than not, when we do get a chance, the chance, you have like one season, maybe two, and if you get fired, it doesn't come back around again for a long time. Like, like whereas with all the coaches pretty much just play musical chairs. It's like
Yeah.
they fail over here, even though they fail, like glaringly fail. They just go right someplace else and get hired like right away. You know,
Yeah.
I think about Eric Bieniemy, when he left Kansas City, because he wanted a chance to interview as a head coach, and the conversation was, well, he's not really calling the plays, in Kansas City,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not really him, it's Andy Reid. So much so that he goes to Washington. At the time, they were rebuilding. I don't think they had Jaden Daniels yet. I forgot who they had there. Honestly speaking, at the time before he
Sam
came.
Howell.
Oh, thank you, Sam Howell. And then they had then they had different owner. A lot was going on there.
Yes,
But
yes.
I thought to myself, like, it's really a shame that in order for him to prove himself or try to prove himself, he's going someplace to this awful franchise. And it looked crazy there because it didn't really have anybody. Like you got to have some kind of weapons. You got to have at least decent quarterback play, like to kind of, put things together. So he
Yes.
goes there, it's an epic fail, and then now he's going back to college. I'm like, now he's back with the Chiefs again. But I'm just like, he went through all of that to just try to prove himself, like, hey, give me a chance. And you have somebody like Sean Mannion who hasn't really proven anything, and he gets a chance, to do certain things. When things like that happen, I'm like, what the heck is that? You know what I mean? Like, and even if he didn't call the plays, you don't have to tell us that. Like you don't
Right.
have to put it
Right.
out there. Like,
They
well, I mean, he
did.
wasn't the one doing it. I'm like, what? Okay, like did he make some enemies there? Like, why he's
Right.
like, right? It's like you want made it a point to let us know that this is not him.
Yes.
Like I'm like, wow, okay. This is anybody else though. Like we don't really know. We think that this OC is calling plays. They may not be. The head coach is calling plays. He may not be. But why point it out with him? It just felt
Even
very
if he's
intense.
not calling
Yeah,
plays, he's a part
crazy.
of the offensive game
Yeah.
planning. It
And they
doesn't really
won,
matter.
like
And
so
they
like they
won.
won with them a few times.
There's a few things on that tree that I like to shake off.
Okay.
One, NFL is more like a good old boy buddy system. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of these coaches never really played football, but they've been around football because they're the
Mm-hmm.
children of another coach who was a head
Mm-hmm.
coach. You got um
Rex
The
Ryan.
Shanahan tree.
Mm-hmm.
It started out with Mike Shanahan, then his son Kyle Shanahan, and then they put the coach around. Gary Kubiak was the quarterback for Mike Shanahan, and he started
Mm-hmm.
being the quarterback coach, and then he was the offensive coordinator. Now you got Clint Kubiak, you got
Mm-hmm.
his other son. Their children come in and they get these head coaching jobs because they've been around their fathers, they learned the game, and so they just
But everybody was bad at Shador when it came to Dion.
right.
You know.
They put it in place. They put these people in place, to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a lot of these black coaches. Let's start with Bieniemy. I think one of the reasons why Andy Reid bought Bieniemy back is because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about this, so this is all speculation. I don't have any sources I haven't read any reports, but it would
Mm-hmm.
make sense that Andy Reid believes he's going to coach another year or two, and he want to hand it off to Bieniemy. Just like you look at Todd Bowles in Tampa Bay,
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Arians was the coach.
Mm-hmm.
He handed it off to Todd Bowles. Even when you go back to Tony Dungy in Indianapolis, he handed it off to Jim Caldwell.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times that's what it is these coaches are they're putting the word out for their white assistant coaches to get these jobs. They're
Mm-hmm.
not handing it off to any of the black coaches that they might have on the staff. They're not even a lot of the black coaches that they do have on the staff are working on the defensive side of the ball. They're not even working with them on the on the offensive side of the ball. So there is something to say for that too with some of these coaches. Like you're not even really putting your black coaches in position to
Mm-hmm.
succeed, to be a
So
part of that tree.
is it that we should do a better job, of looking out for one another, and we're not doing that? Because I mean, I think about
There,
Philip Rivers, right? I know he he took his name out of the running, for
Right.
the Bills head coaching position. But dude, respectfully, you were coaching high school. Like you were a
Right.
high school coach. You have no kind of coaching experience at all, and you were going straight from that to head coach,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
with
it happens.
no assistant in between, no nothing at all. I'm like,
It
really?
happens. We saw it happen with JJ
I mean, it
Redick.
definitely happens. I was just like, that's crazy though. You know what I mean? And but that's
Right.
all due respect to him because he could still be turned to be a good head coach. You never know. Sometimes you can grow up around something and not be a good head coach. You can grow up around it and be awesome. It
Right.
really depends. It's no guarantee. But I'm just like, wow, you just overstepping. Like other
Exactly.
people. Like I'm like, if that's the case. Like go to all the high schools. Go to the best high. Go to all the high schools and see who will shake a tree there and bring
Mm-hmm.
somebody over to the NFL. It's
You
just
know what? You're 100% correct, and this is a problem that I remember years ago. They was asking Ray Lewis when he was leaving Baltimore about getting into coaching. He was like, "They're not gonna let me. They want me to, start off at the bottom. Maybe be a linebackers coach, and then be a special teams coach, and then come up." He like, "I know football. I know I can coach. I can motivate men." You know, and so it was always told that
keep
you
talking.
have
I'm see if I made me think about something. Let me see if I can find this clip. Keep talking. I can hear you.
yeah,
Just want to
it
sure.
was always told that you have to, you have to work your way into coaching. You have to get coaching experience. And even you mentioned Deion Sanders. You look at somebody like
Uh-huh.
Deion, he had to start off at the very bottom in coaching. He had to start coaching his son at the Red League. Then he went to the high school. Then he went to HBCU. And then he went to Colorado. Like and he's still developing as a coach, but he's had to really get coaching experience before he can even be qualified to be a head coach. So now all of a sudden you seeing guys who are 2 years removed from the game who are one step away from being a head coach. Or you see a guy like Phillip Rivers who was coaching high school, came back and played, and then he was a coaching candidate for the Buffalo Bills. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
hold on, wait a minute. I thought y'all said that we need extensive coaching experience before we can even approach these levels. So the playing field is not fair, and we all see it. It's a glaring issue. It's just that what can we do about it if they're making money the old way with the good old boy network?
I also put some of this on the players. I said the same thing with Colin Kaepernick had, everything that happened with him. I know, people like Jerry Jones were like, "Oh, you do that, you're gonna be up out of here. You're not playing for my team. You're not
Right.
gonna get rid of the whole team, Jerry. So be quiet."
Correct.
Like now, if one person takes a knee, you can definitely get rid of that one person. But you're not going to get rid of Dak. You're not going to get rid of your whole entire like offensive line, the whole entire defensive line. Like you're not going to do that.
Right.
So be quiet. But that's not what happened. I really wonder sometimes how come when these things happen, players don't speak up about it. Is it like, and I'm not talking about the players like on the far end of the bench, like who, like on the practice squad, because
Mm-hmm.
they're not trying to get booted up out. They're trying to
Right.
get, make it to the actual team to get the roster. But for the ones who have power, the Patrick Mahomes, the Lamars, the Joe Burrows, and people like that, who are, upper echelon, Dak Prescott, also 60 million a year, you know what I mean? Who are considered, upper echelon of talent and QBs in the league. It's like, how come you don't use that to speak up about certain things? I'm going to ask you also really quickly, how do you feel about athletes speaking out about things like injustice and racism, or think police brutality? Because I know years ago, I forgot what it was. I remember LeBron said something, and it was like "shut up and dribble." And you see
Mm-hmm.
the comments like, "Here they go again, making everything about race or this or that." Like we just want to watch sports. We don't want to hear any foolishness. We want to just enjoy the
Right.
game without any of the extra added things that are going on in the world. Are you on the side of, you know, use your platform and speak up, or you're like, this is sports, that should be separate from sports?
I'm in the middle. If you're well spoken and educated as Colin Kaepernick was, then I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you speaking on issues. But if you don't know what the hell's going on and you
Mm-hmm.
don't really follow politics, then I prefer you just shut up and dribble, because that's
Mm-hmm.
what you're good at. You can say some stuff that makes you, and then you represent a whole bunch of people. So when you
Mm-hmm.
say something that sounds idiotic, it makes the people sound idiotic.
Mm-hmm.
Kaepernick was very well spoken. He was very well educated. Somebody like Jalen Brown. When he speaks,
Love him.
it's come from a different space, and it's like, okay, this brother is, what he talking about. He's educated, and then it makes us all look good. But you can have one idiot go out there and he starts saying stuff based on what the media is pushing out, or based on something he heard on social media,
Yeah.
and then the media eat him up alive, and they'll make him look foolish. So I prefer, they just, certain athletes speak up, and I prefer some athletes they just keep quiet, and just support those that are like you don't have to say nothing, but support Kaepernick when he is speaking. You don't have to say nothing, but support Jalen Brown when he is speaking, and that'll go a long way. If you
True.
just support those who do understand, and those who are educated, and those who do know how to speak well on issues.
I feel like a lot of times, and I always say this, like owners obviously they they own. They write the checks, they're paying you, but you have nothing to pay if we're not here playing and fans are here to watch.
Right.
So otherwise, if we're not on the field, then what you got? Empty stands because they're not here to just watch an empty field. You got to have players on it. The people who are talented. Catching all these crazy passes with one hand and whatnot. Making it excited for the fans to come to it and want to tune into. I just sometimes I get so frustrated. I'm like, dude, like use your power. Like I hate when like players like I think it was Jamar Chase. It was a T Higgins like taking pay cuts. I'll take a pay cut so I can stay here. No, the hell with that.
Right.
The owners are not broke. Why are you selling yourself short and giving them a discount? Like when they want to give you one. So like I don't
Correct.
understand like why are you giving out discounts? Like step into your power. You know what I mean? Know who you are. I'm not saying ask for anything crazy that you haven't rightfully earned. But if your accolades say this, your yards, you had a crazy season, 2,000 plus rushing yards, or triple crown or whatever it is, pay me accordingly. I'm not taking no discounts. Matter of fact, if I have to wait for it, add my interest. I
Right.
love Dak for that. Dak don't play. Like happy like I
Nah,
gotta wait.
that's
Okay,
why I like that.
the longer I gotta wait, the more you will pay.
Right.
Like the price is not gonna be the same as the days go. So however you want to do it, Jerry, but you're gonna pay eventually.
Yeah, football is one of those sports where, and it's unfortunate, the the NFLPA is the worst out of all sports, and because of that, a lot of football players, they are not willing to commit to unity. So if
No,
football players go on
there's an issue.
strike or get locked out,
Mm-hmm.
the NFL owners, they'll go get a bunch of guys off the street to come play football for them, and the people, the fans, they don't really care. They just want to see football. They don't really care who's out there. And like I tell these players, the fans don't care about you. They care about the team. They care about that team color. That's what they care about.
If you
Um,
had a huge lockout where like majority of your players, like your Patrick Mahomes players, your
right.
Lamars, your Joshes, like we're not playing. We're all standing in unison with Colin Kaepernick. Like it's gonna hit a little bit different. You know what I mean? Now you could obviously get your backup rosters to come in and play, but folks want to see the Patrick Mahomes out there.
Well,
Like we're not trying to see too many Sam Howell games
well, see, this is the thing with the
or Zach
NFL,
Wilson,
because the
certainly.
NFL has done this, and they'll go out there and get some scrag players out, and they'll bring them in, they'll play. The people still come watch. It won't be as much. They'll take a small hit, but the problem is, at some point with the football players, they'll start going broke,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have guys crossing the picket line,
Mm-hmm.
and when you have guys crossing the picket line, everything crumbles, because now it's like, well, we might as well go back.
Yeah.
Like we got guys who's
You gotta stand your ground. You gotta
right,
stand together. Yeah, you
right,
can't cower.
and they
Yeah.
don't and they don't stand together in the NFL. So that's why even with the most recent, Colin Kaepernick situation, he didn't really have anybody stand behind him. You
And that was
know,
crazy, man. I'm like, nobody gonna
so
stand behind this man, really?
right,
Like not nobody. Like, what's
right.
going
It was
on?
sad. It was sad,
That-
but it was very telling, and
yeah.
it told you who really got the power. So,
What's up, Prez? What's up? What's up? Nice
what
to
up,
see you.
Prez?
Just say, uh, Oh, just saying though, do we have any Mexican coaches, head coaches? I don't believe so.
Not currently. Ryan Rivera. I think Ryan Rivera is of Latino descent.
Yeah, I think he
Um,
was. Yeah.
right.
Yes.
But
Yes.
other than that, as far as head coaches go,
Yeah. I'm
no,
thinking
there
right.
might be some on the lower levels as far as coordinators and different position coaches,
Mhm.
but as far as head coaches, not currently. No.
I mean, how many Mexican players do we have?
You might. I mean, a very small amount. A
Yeah.
very small amount. You might got a couple kickers,
Hmm.
but it's a very small amount. But but even with the Latino, any minority, it's not
Hmm.
just black coaches. It's any minority. They're
Hmm.
gonna have problems because there are no minority owners in football. If you go to basketball, you might have two minority owners in
Yeah,
Charlotte,
minorities. Majority.
and Sacramento. But other than that, and then in baseball, you have no minority owners. So it all starts at the top.
Um, I know LeBron's been very, very vocal for years about wanting to, bring a team, I believe, to Vegas. Um, and he has the money for it, and if not, I'm sure he can get somebody
Right.
to partner up with him, quite a few people, if I'm being honest. But if I'm being honest, they know when you let us in, you let one of us in, let us have our own team, it's going to shift everything once that happens immediately. You know what I mean?
You
It's
would
not
hope
going to be the
so.
same again.
You would hope so. Michael Jordan owned the team.
Hmm.
I mean, he sold the team,
Hmm. He did.
but he wasn't a really good owner, But what he did, what he was able to do, he was able to control the hiring process. He had a lot of his guys in the front office, and then then you shift it down and you get the coaches
Hmm.
that you want. Now he didn't have success because he was one of those meddling owners who didn't let basketball guys do basketball things, and he was a
Hmm.
horrible picker of players. But that I think LeBron would be do a much better job at being an owner than Jordan. But this is the problem when it comes to minority ownership. There's a lot of minorities who got the cachet to get a team and can put some money together to get a team. The owners have to vote that
That's what I'm
new
saying. They
owner
have to vote.
in.
Yeah.
They
They
have to
don't.
say
They
we
don't
want
want
to let
that.
him be part of the club.
They
He just
don't. They
can't
don't want
have
that.
money and think he can go buy some. Your money is no good here. Yeah, so they have to be willing to accept your money.
Why
And
wouldn't his
Jordan,
billionaire money be good?
right?
Like,
And Jordan had made the proper relationships,
mhm,
along towards the end of his career when he went and worked in Washington with those execs, where they were the Washington Wizards. He went and worked with those guys,
mhm,
and so he started building the proper relationships. He had the proper relationship with David Stern. He had the proper
mhm,
relationship with a lot of the owners. Where when it came his time to own a team, now don't get me wrong, he didn't. He bought the team from another black owner.
mhm,
He bought the team from the Johnsons who owned BET.
mhm,
So once once Bob Johnson and his wife were getting divorced,
mhm.
then he went on ahead and sold his stake off to Michael Jordan. So it was like he was passing it on to Michael Jordan in that way. So it's just very difficult for a minority to become an owner, even if he or she does have the cachet to do so.
Press said, "Do you think black owners and minority owners will be sabotaged?" I believe Michael Jordan was sabotaged, especially with the picks.
Nah, I
You
mean
think? You think so?
you either want Kwame Brown or you don't. You either
Hmm.
want Adam Morrison or you don't. Some of the guys who were picking, we were like,
Hmm.
Mike, what are you doing?
Hmm.
But Mike thought that was what was the best to do. I mean, so I don't think it was sabotaging picks.
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
play this.
he
Go
drafted
ahead.
Melo. Melo is good, but it
Hmm.
ain't turned the franchise around.
No, it's not. I think he really should go someplace else. Markets matter too. You could be super talented, but like you in the wrong market, you don't really see your games that tough on TV. We gotta buy a league pass and You got to
Well,
buy, this pass and that pass. The way they make it nowadays, it's like no one's signed up for like 5 different streams to watch these games. Like you got to make it a bit more accessible too. We just watch it for free when the highlights come on YouTube, on Instagram.
yeah, but OKC and San Antonio are doing well. So as long as they're doing well, it kind of,
Well, I mean, okay, so they have SGA, and it took a little while for that
you got
franchise
to
to
get the
kind of turn
players.
around, and then they were also, again, like, because they're winning, so
Right.
as they win, people want to
Yes.
come, they're going to put it on television, so, that's that. But, like, I don't think the Hornets are a bad team. Like, they have some
Oh,
good
no, they're
pieces,
bad.
No, they have good pieces to me. I mean, when you think about, Khan, obviously, who people say, might just beat out
Right.
flag for rookie of the year. Melo,
Brandon Miller. Right.
who else is there? Somebody else I cannot think of the name right now. It'll come to me in a second.
Oh, yeah, they got a lot of good players in Charlotte.
But it's like it's not fitting,
Right.
I don't know if it's not fitting together or if it's the coaching that doesn't know how to put it together. I'm not sure what it is, you know what I mean? But if maybe I'm a piece or two away, I'm not even sure, because they, like I said, they got some nice pieces, but it just seems like something's just, I don't know, they just don't fit together like a puzzle, or they need a different coach. I don't even know. Don't start me lying. What's up, DJ?
What up,
How's your
DJ?
night going? My night is good. Yeah, I'm actually kind of starting to crash. I'm tired now. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna play this clip really quickly. I don't know if y'all saw Cam. He had spoke out when the Falcons, I believe they announced Matt Ryan.
Oh, Matt Ryan. Okay.
Yeah, well, he spoke about Stefanski too, but when Matt Ryan was announced, I think it's the GM or president of operations, something like that. The same thing I think is Brandon Beane.
Mm-hmm.
And Cam kind of spoke out. I don't know if he was joking or when I'm joking, like serious jokes. You know what I mean? Where you say it's just something, but you're like, oh, I'm just joking, but you kind of really mean it at the same time. And he was talking about, I guess, not getting an opportunity to be a GM or be a president, and then Jason Whitlock is like, well, look at this and look at that, so on and so forth. I'm just going to play a little bit of it, but I want to know your thoughts, though. Why do you think popular players like Cam Newton, just being one person, don't get a chance to become GMs, or president of operations of teams that they did really good for? Here we go. Hold on. Let's find it. How y'all doing in the chat, though? What's up, y'all?
LF Press in the building.
Ignorance. How Cam is actually leading people in the culture into a deeper level of ignorance that will only limit their opportunities the same way Cam's opportunities are limited. Cam, you need to think this thing through, repent, and change your ways. But let's hear from Cam, his response to me.
No. One thing about me, Mr. Whitlock, my voice to the culture is way more heavier than I even expected it to be. I owe a service to speak up for the muzzled, for the muted, the forgotten, or the overlooked, to make sure my dialect, my tone, my vernacular is not only factual, but it's also relatable to my kind. My kind is not just a color. My kind is for the people who understand and can run a penthouse. So be careful, Mr. Whitlock, because you fell victim to what I really wanted you and others to understand. I may look some dumb, but I ain't plumb dumb. So I'm comfortable in my skin. Are you comfortable in yours?
I'll start with your last question. Am I comfortable in my skin? And he's saying that he's comfortable in his. And so I'm going to deal with your question legitimately. I'm going to deal with what you said. My skin, I think what you mean is, am I comfortable being black? But let me answer your first question. Am I comfortable in my skin? My skin is not a color. It's skin. So I'm answering the skin question, then I'll answer the color question. I am not comfortable in my skin. No, because I have a biblical worldview. I know that I'm a ratchet, lustful ignoramus, and that the Bible and Christianity actually teaches me to deny myself that my instincts, what I want to do, will lead me astray. And so I get up every day and go to war with Jason Whitlock. I get up, and the first thing I think is sausage and egg and cheese McMuffin. And then I go to war with that thought. And I say, nope, protein powder. Or nope, fast until 2:00 or 1:00. I go to war with myself because I have figured out that the things that I want actually hurt me, damage me. And that the Bible.
I'm gonna pause that real quick. What do you think? The way Cam, right?
Right.
I think people sometimes they look at Cam because of how he dresses, with the crazy hats, and the colors and everything else. We'd be like, well, Cam, what you got on? You know what I mean? I've seen people describe him as Willy Wonka,
Right,
like all
right.
kind of different things, but that is who he is, right?
ATL.
And I think Jason Whitlock's point, I don't even like Jason Whitlock, but nevertheless, it's one of the conversation. He knows who his audience is as well. But when it comes to Cam specifically, because he mentioned, alluded or implied, like how come, his number wasn't called or he wasn't considered, for that kind of position. Do you think it's because of how Cam dresses? People say like, we can't have you out there in front of the cameras at ESPN, representing our business, when you dress like that. Is there something wrong with wanting to be in that position with how he's dressed? Should he change and conform more to what society, I guess, thinks he should look like to be a GM?
This is, and we've had this discussion before in the past when it was coming to Shador, but I like Cam Newton the way he is. I believe he's, I always believe somebody should stand on who you are, be you. But we have to understand that being you is going to make your role more difficult. There's an amount of conformity that is expected if you're going to make that role easier for yourself. I know this from personal experience. I made the role myself more difficult because I refuse to cut my locks off. I refuse to not be from Atlanta. I refuse not to speak the way that I speak to people about certain issues. And I was okay with that. I'm more comfortable being who I am than being somebody else so that I can have a certain position. But I've known a lot of people who, most black people who go to work, they're a different person at work than who they really are. They have to be, or else they won't keep their job and they won't pay their bills. So
if you listen to Cam talk like football, like he knows his stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's
Cam
been there. He was crazy. One of them ones in college. You know what I mean? Didn't win Super Bowl, but he got there. Game changer, if you want to call him that, versus game manager, if that matters to you.
Right.
But I'm like, so if Cam, let's say Cam, changed the way he dressed, because I don't think he carries himself bad. I mean, if you look at the fact that he has multiple kids by different women, if you factor that in, to the situation, that's off the court. He doesn't have any issues off the court as far as that goes. But if you're like, I don't want someone, I want someone who's like a Dak Prescott, who has, Beyonce, with or Steph Curry, with the wife and the 4 kids, and or LeBron, a lot of times you see these men like they're family men, right? And I know he has his girlfriend, and they're raising their kids, all the kids, together. But if he didn't have that, let's say, he does have that. So he has that, but he changes the way he dresses. Let's say he took the hat off, he just wore his dreads, and he put a different kind of suit on, a regular suit. Would he then be acceptable, you think? Because Jason, he was talking about Cam, the way he carries himself, and I'm just like, we're talking about football, because if we're talking about a GM, you hire a GM, a president of operations, you want someone who knows their stuff. They want to know how to draft, like how to get people to want to come to your, to your franchise and things. Like, I think Cam could do that. But if we're just looking solely on how he dresses, and you're like, oh, he look kind of crazy, You might be off put by that. So if Cam changed all that up, do you think he was still that he at that point would he be able to give his resume in for the
he would have to
job?
do a whole lot. Look, Cam is having success right now because he's being himself and he's the boss. You know what I'm saying? He's the boss, and as long as you're the boss, you can do it however you want to do it. But
he seems to want to move into that though. The way he speaks at times, like he would like opportunity to be there.
Yes, we're gonna need to have a black owner who believes that Cam can be in there and be a culture changer and ready to do something like that. It's not gonna happen with him being the way he currently is because.
When you say the way he is, what is that? What do you mean? The way he dresses, like
I was about to give an example. The Falcons just hired Ian Cunningham as the general manager. He's black, but he's only black in the sense of talking about race. He's the only black.
You have like Andrew Berry kind of black, like black on the outside, but like white on the inside, like an Oreo.
Yes, they're those type of guys, and that's what it's gonna take for them to get that position. They're gonna be family men. They got their wife, they got their kids. You can take them to the golf course. You can shoot some rounds with them. You can put them in front of people, and they're gonna yes, Bob, and they're gonna do that thing. You know, Cam ain't like that. So it's going to be more difficult for Cam to get in that same space. But if Cam went and he changed it up, he dressed like they want him to dress, he cut his hair, got a nice little fade. He told all his girlfriends and baby mamas, you know, I'm only going to get with this girl right now. I'm going to get married to her, and this is what we're going to do. And, you know, okay, then he'd have a better opportunity. But he's not clean cut like that. And so, unfortunately, a lot of this is politics. This comes down to the almighty dollar, and it's capitalism. And like I said before, capitalism has a built-in racist component to it. You're not gonna be Cam Newton and think you finna go and eat folks stuff and infiltrate their system. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. I wish it was different, but we don't own no team, so you know. And I'm all about owners being able to hire whoever they want to hire. I believe if you own the business, you have a right to run that business the way you see fit. And if you run it into the ground because you weren't hiring qualified people, then that's on you. So, you know, but right now, business is booming.
Marie Vans. Is it working? Yeah, I don't know if did you hear it, DJ? It was just playing that you couldn't hear it? Y'all couldn't hear it? You heard it, right? You heard the video, right?
Yeah, I heard the video.
Okay. What's up, Attitude? Why y'all listening to a clown like Jason Whitlock? No, I don't like Jason Whitlock like that. I was just asking Notty about his perspective in terms of what he was saying about Cam, because I don't know if you heard me say it. Cam, kind of spoke out about Matt Ryan being hired, and how come, it kind of implied like he wanted that kind of job, and Jason Whitlock kind of went in on him like, well, you want that kind of job, but you're doing this, you're dressed like this, you're talking like this, and then Cam responded and went someplace else. So that's why I played it.
Yeah,
but no, I don't listen to Jason.
I'm not a huge Jason Whitlock fan, but I can say that he's a difficult person to debate with because he's gonna make solid points. You're just gonna have to disagree with him and come back with solid points to oppose him. And I saw his initial. Now I didn't see the one you just played. That was new to me. But I saw the initial one he put out, and I saw Cam's response. And Cam made it personal. He started taking personal shots at him, calling him fat, and like.
Well, I mean, you called him a clown, so that's personal too.
Yeah, yeah. It's all like don't like this, and this is a problem that we have in the black community, and why black people can't get along. All black people aren't the same. We're different. You have your Cam Newtons and your Lamar Jacksons and your Russell Wilsons and your Jason Whitlocks and all. Like, if we can't sit
Russell
down,
will make a good Cam. Then Russ we trust.
I shouldn't have brought Russell Wilson up, but for the sake of what I'm trying to say, all these guys are different. We all black people
Famous?
ain't the same. So what we have to be able to do, we have to be able to have conversations without killing each other. And we can't have conversations with a guy like Anton Daniels, and I don't know if you're privy to a guy like Corey Holcomb, but a guy like Corey Holcomb, they'll never
I don't rock with Corey, but I do watch.
They'll never get along.
Often. Yeah,
they'll never get along because they're too different. You know, so it's just something that, you know, we got to work out in the black community amongst ourselves. We have to be able to communicate with each other and accept each other's differences, and thinking because, okay, since you ain't from the hood, then you don't understand. And okay, if I'm a Republican and I'm black, then I shouldn't be killed either. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm not from the hood. Like, so
the thing about Jason,
I don't think white people have that same issue, or maybe they hide it better.
They might hide it, but You might be right about that. The thing with Jason Whitlock that irritates me is that he's always quick to call somebody out who's black. You know, I'm like, if you're gonna do that, keep the same energy across the board. You know, the same energy. When Deshaun Watson had his issue, you know, he had a lot to say about it. But then when it came to Justin Tucker, he was kind of mute. You know, like, you're not saying much of anything. You know, like, keep the same energy. Now, he was talking about Cam. I understood. I mean, I like it, but I understood some of what he was saying about why Cam wouldn't get that kind of job.
Right.
But tell the whole part. You put it only on Cam and how he's dressed, but talk about the other side of it. You know, the what's going on, you know, in upper management, in ownership. Like, tell the whole thing. Don't just like talk about one part, you know, because that's also you got
issue. That's my issue with him.
You know, like, tell the whole story. Don't just like, oh, well, it's how you dress, you know, like, so to speak. That's why. You know, that's not just it.
Because I like the way Cam dressed. I think it's pretty cool, you know. But I understand.
I like Cam, but I don't like the way he dressed. That's for him.
Yeah,
you know?
But I understand. You know, when you're talking about these owners, that you know, they got a certain way they want to look, especially if you're black. They want you to. They want to know that you got to make them feel comfortable. You got to fall in line, and if you don't fall in line, you're not gonna get the gig.
That's true. Cam is like, you know, he's a strong personality, so they want somebody who they can tame. I mean, with other comments, Fred said he wakes up and says, "How big can I make my back today?"
That was funny.
DJ, isn't Cam Newton broke now? I don't know what he was in the past, but he's definitely moving now. You know,
he got more money than me. Then he ain't.
Yeah, I mean, between ESPN, you know, First Take, between his own platform that he has, no 4th and 1, and then he has the other show that he does with Ashley Moss, 106 in Sports. You know, like, he's moving along. You know,
right. He's probably not getting the 30 million he was getting when he was playing, but he's doing all right for himself.
Yeah, you know, he's picking it up now. He's getting a lot more motion. You know, so I don't think he's broke. Oreo is the term that they use when you don't speak like, "Hey, what's good, my guy?" You know,
right.
You're like, "Hi, how are you?" They're like, "Where you from?"
I really don't like that, because that's black on black crime. That's black on black crime, and we shouldn't be held to, like, in order to be black, you gotta be hood. You gotta talk a certain kind of way. It's almost like saying, in order to be black, you gotta be dumb. And I just don't like that. That's ignorant.
Should we beg to be in other people's leagues? I don't think I don't mind somebody being, and this is just me, y'all. Y'all know I guess I'm different when it comes to that. I don't. For me, if I had a team, I'm looking, if I'm potentially hiring Cam or anybody that's dressed like him, or or whatever. I don't mind if you have a Southern accent or Southern twang, or you know what I mean, no kind of vibe with you. I don't really care about your hats, you know, your sense of style. It's very different. But for me, I'm looking at what you can do. You know, can you get players to come here? You know, can you find the right players, you know, to make this roster better? Can you take what we have and make me more money? Are you going to cost me money? You know, do you know what you're talking about? You know, you might know football, but do you know business? Do you know how to, you know, move things around, know in terms of cap space and how to work with those different things? Because I'm looking at those things for me if I'm an owner, you know, but again, that's me. I'm not an actual owner in the NFL. So, and I want somebody who has fresh ideas, who's creative, who might see something different that I don't see personally. especially if I'm a struggling franchise. Like if I'm struggling, then bring on all the ideas. Let's work it out. Let's see what's good, what works, what doesn't work potentially. But that's me. What about you though?
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying I'm about hiring the best person for the job.
Mm-hmm.
At the end
In
of the
spite
day,
of big crazy hats.
it doesn't matter. Can you get the
Okay.
job done? Can we win? Are you gonna make me money? This is a business.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to point out there are a couple owners who like the Rooney family.
Mm-hmm.
One reason why I support the Steelers because the Rooney family, they do understand what's going on at the top, and they do give a lot of black people, a lot of minorities, not just black, opportunities in high ranking positions, from general manager to head coaching. I mean, they had a black head coach for 19 years. Didn't fire him, let him walk out whenever he was ready to leave. Didn't fall to the pressure of the fans. You got Arthur Blank in Atlanta who just donated $50 million to HBCUs. He had a general manager, black head coach, black quarterback. He went from one black general manager to another black general manager. That's something that doesn't happen. You just look at his track record. I mean, he was one of the biggest donors when it came to the presidential election for Kamala Harris. So you do have a couple owners. Those are the two that I can just come to my head that, Philadelphia owner, like those owners are a little bit more progressive than the rest of the league, so to say. So I will say that, but at the end of the day, it's still 29 other owners that are not offering these opportunities. But if I was an owner, I'm looking for I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what your background is. Can you get the job done? Do you got the right networks and the right people? And like you said, can you manage the cap so that, we can put a football team out on the field every Sunday? That's all that's important to me.
I love African Americans. Okay. Okay, right so. It's Russell Wilson and Oreo. I would think you might consider Russell Oreo in terms of how he carries himself.
I don't
Some
know.
might say that. People typically, like when I'm growing up, like when I would like say something, like I used, instead of saying drink, I say beverage. People like beverage. Like, it's drink, I'm
Right.
like,
I might say drink.
I say purchase. I don't always say buy.
Right.
So I'm like purchase. I'm like, it's not a big word, y'all. It's just purchase.
Right.
Like, But so I remember being teased a little bit. Just how I spoke like growing up. But so if I'm going by that, my own personal experience, you may consider Russell Wilson an Oreo, because of how he carries himself. People might call him a simp. You might call him corny. You might call him quite a few different things.
Yeah, simp and Oreo, two different things, though.
I said you might call him that. You might call him this. You might call him that. Yes, but I would think. I mean, somebody might probably call him Oreo. They might consider him to be an Oreo.
Yeah, but see, we got to be real careful with that because a lot of times what we see is a person on TV. We don't know these people. So you see him on TV and then you see him at the press conference and he talks a certain way as a press conference because he has a job to do. But I've had the experience. I remember I found out this firsthand a couple times working in radio. We had Charles Barkley come to the studio one time. And when we went out for the break for the commercial, Charles Barkley started talking. He was a whole nother person. He was cursing. He was talking like he was from the hood. I was like, I don't... Like he's not.
I mean, you can see that now on the show because you know the way he be talking.
Right, but he puts on he has a TV personality. I thought Marshall Faulk was quote unquote Oreo until we had him on the show and we went off, went to a commercial and we heard this regular conversation. I'm like, hold on, this is one of the blackest guys in America. But when you turn them lights back on, it's button up, it's talk a certain way. Like I said, it's the same way a lot of black people.
Based on what you see from Russell Wilson, what he puts on in the media,
right?
Because we don't know him off the field.
Right. It's
based
just
on
like
what you see, what you consider him already.
Right. I wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people go to work for these jobs, and when they're at their job, they behave a certain kind of way so they can keep their job. But then when they go home, they cussing the children out.
Do you think he's an Oreo though?
I can't say I don't know. I don't know him personally enough
Well,
for
of course,
me.
that's what you think. This is an opinion.
No,
It's not like
I mean
cemented in stone.
I don't think he's an Oreo. I
Okay.
just don't. Now his TV personality is Oreo-ish, but that's just about every black person that's
I'm
on
done.
TV.
His TV personality is Oreo-ish. Semantics. You say he's trying to like ride the fence, dude. Stop
No,
riding.
I'm trying to say is
It's
just
like,
about every black person on TV can be considered an Oreo because they have to put on their, the hat that they
I
want
don't
to
think
keep their
everybody
job.
could. When Ant-Man talk,
But
Ant-Man
that
is giving
Ant-Man, he's a
Oreo.
player. He's a player.
Ant-Man is so raw.
Right.
Like, bring
And
your hat.
basketball players are a lot different too.
There.
Yeah,
I'm like,
basketball
what
players
you
are a
say?
lot different. Right. He's not a
He's
quarterback.
hilarious.
And this only applies to quarterbacks, really. Most quarterbacks are gonna speak a certain way at the press conference. That's why I think a lot of
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
right. A lot of
like,
us resonate with somebody like Lamar Jackson. Even though he's not all, a shouty at the press conference, you can tell you can tell
he got the shorty in him.
yeah, but you can exactly
Yeah.
he's not as buttoned up as Jordan Love would be, Russell Wilson would be,
Well, because they got that vanilla in them, and you see that a little bit more, respectfully.
Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, but I just
see that
think
a little bit more.
as a quarterback, you have to carry yourself in a certain kind of way most of the time, and and Cam Newton fell under that too, so this is why
I can't wait for Lamar to win it all. When I say win,
I was hoping Cam Newton won it all. Like it's great, but
his grades and everything else.
But Jalen Hurts won it. He's buttoned up when he gets in the press conference. But there's no doubt in my mind, Jalen Hurts is just as black as Lamar.
Jalen's alpha. He's just he's not giving Oreo.
He's just as black as Lamar Jackson. But the way he carries himself in the media is professional. But whatever that is,
I don't know how I've heard a little more about how Lamar grew up. I don't know as much about how I heard some about how Russell grew up. I don't know as much about Jalen's background and how he grew up. I think that opposite could be it. Now he seems I don't know. He looks like they grew up on two different sides of the town. You know what I mean? He looks like he grew up like in the nice neighborhood. Jalen looks like the nice schools. Lamar looks like he came from a little bit of the rough side of town. Like the trenches. You know what I mean? It's not a bad thing.
Right.
I'm not saying it's bad to come from the trenches, y'all. So don't be saying on college judging, the folks. I'm not saying that. It's just looking at personalities. That's what it gives to me without knowing them personally.
Right.
But they could be from the same side of town for all I know.
I mean, Cam Newton from College Park. So yeah. Some of that.
DJ said Russ is on the list. He's on the Oreo list.
Okay, I put him on that end.
He said Kaj doesn't like flamboyant style. It's not that because I love. Let me tell y'all, I love the way SGA dressed, and I think he's very flamboyant in terms of just his style and the way he's out there. I think he is hands down the best dressed player in the NFL. I'm sorry, in the NBA. Period. Nobody's messing with him. But Cam is a little bit different though.
Yeah, Cam is a lot different. He doesn't wear he'll go to the Goodwill and pick some stuff out. He'll go to a thrift store, put some stuff.
That's
together.
The way it looked,
Right. I mean, no, that's the way it is. That ain't just the way it looked. That's the way it is. Yeah, he ain't finna, because it really don't. It's a matter of ideology.
He gotta save his money.
Right, it's a lot of ideology. Like I can go spend all this money on these clothes or I can spend little on the clothes and I make the clothes. I'm Cam Newton. It don't matter what I wear, So yeah, I get that too. I like that he's a leader. He's a leader, not a follower. I can appreciate that.
DJ say, I think you can still sound black and be articulate. Yeah, you can. Or you should be able to, but it's like we don't accept that. It's like if you are black and articulate, it's like, oh, you trying to be.
Yeah, they say you sound white.
Let's use Candace Owens versus someone like Al Sharpton. Both articulate, but one sounds blacker than the other. Well, yeah, Candace, yeah, she definitely doesn't sound. He does sound blacker than her. I get what you're saying.
Well, when you're from the South, it's a little bit different. You can articulate all you want when you're from the South. You're just gonna sound black, because you're from the South and you speak a certain way. But in a lot of other different parts of the country, if you articulate, you come across as well. And I hate this, but they that person sounds white. Why? Because I'm able to communicate clearly.
Yeah.
So I sound white now. So black people aren't capable of communicating clearly. Like it's really ignorant. A lot of times we do it to ourselves.
I will say I do find it interesting that like at work, right? I have a lot of clients that come in, from different places. A lot of them come from Texas. They never have an accent though, for the most part. And I remember when I went to Texas, I used to live in Dallas, I went to high school there. I lost my New York accent like right away. And I picked up my Southern accent and I dropped it back when I moved back home. But when I was there, the Caucasian white people, like they didn't really have a crazy accent. Like you wouldn't necessarily know where they were from unless they told you, But when I was my was black, a lot of Mexicans are there, in Dallas, you could tell clearly they were from the South. Like you just heard it. So I'm just wondering, from again, I'm just talking about just Texas, y'all, where I was at specifically in Dallas, I'm talking about everybody in the South. It was a clear difference, both from Dallas, but one had an accent and one spoke, I guess you want to call it proper English, if you want to say that. They articulated their words better. That's just funny to me how that was different, but from the same place. Is it because I wonder, think about it now, is because we were on one side and they were on the other side, so to speak? Is that why, they didn't pick up the accent?
Yeah.
Because they didn't say store. They were like, store. What's the store?
Right.
But I was like, stout. Eagles brother said, "What's up, Eagles brother? How
Eagles
you doing?
Brother, what's happening?
What up? Good conversation. Well, thank you." DJ said, "It's not just the words, it's the tone." That too. Tone.
That's
It's
correct.
not what you say, but how you say it.
Right. Yeah. You got to make them feel comfortable. I personally was always a person, because I read a lot. I like reading. I got a very extensive vocabulary. So I like using words.
Do.
I like using words, but at the same time, I always call it a proper slang. Like I still I still want people to know this is where I'm from. Like I'm this. Like
a proper slang.
So,
that's nice.
Right. So, but yeah, a lot of people switch up when they go around different people, especially. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me how you can be with your friends, you can be with a group of black people, and y'all are having a regular conversation, and some white people come around and they just switch up everything. And I be like, really? Like you just switch up your whole act because you believe that even though you don't know these white folk from nobody in the world, you believe that they can help you.
For me, like I don't hear it, but my son is always like, "You sound different when you're on the phone making an appointment." So when you're talking to someone, I'm like, "No, I don't." He's like, "Yeah, you do." Like you, I'm like, well, "How do I sound?" He's like, "I don't know. You sound." I'm like, "Well, I sound white." He's like, "Yeah." You're like, "Hi, my name." I'm Kaja Stewart Yadi. I'm like, "That's not how I sound." He's like, "Yeah, you do." I'm like, "I always talk." He's like, "No, when you talk to me, you don't sound like that." And then when you talk to me, I'm like, "Well, maybe because you're hard-headed, But I'm like, I don't feel like I'm trying to sound different when I'm around or talking to somebody else who's white or Asian or whatever, But let him tell it I do.
Yeah, but depending on the situation, it's probably wise too, because it's about communication. I want you to be able to understand me clearly, and I need to understand you clearly. So it'll be easier for me to adjust to your addiction than it will be for you to adjust to mine. So let's have this. We don't have time to waste. Hey, how you doing? This is what I'm trying to do. Woo, woo, woo. I'm just talking in your language. I got some Latino guys who I work with, and a lot of time when I'm communicating with them, I communicate in Spanish. I'll text them in Spanish. I'll try my best to, because it's about communication. We got a job to do. We don't got time to be sitting here lost in translation. So whatever I have to do in order to make this a more easy transition, then that's what we're gonna do. It'll be easier for me to do that than you try to shout it. Look, what I'm trying to say is, look, we gonna do FOMO. like you might not can adapt, you know what I'm saying? But I can. You know what I'm saying? So it's all
good. If you put it like that, then it's best that you do.
Yes.
Speak to them
in certain situation. Now, if I run up on some random white folks in the street, they gonna have to adapt to what I'm already doing. I'm not switching up to you because you don't owe me nothing. I'm not looking for nothing from you. I don't automatically have in my mind that you can help me or you are willing to help me. I want to see if you're willing to accept me for who I am already, and I'm willing to accept you for who you are. And that's just a humanitarian thing to do.
What up, big dog? How you doing, my guy? How you doing? I told you to go work on that cookbook, y'all. You got a cookbook coming, big dog cookbook coming soon, right?
Cooking.
My guy be cooking. He be cooking it up, y'all. You ever come to the chat? He make a teriyaki chicken,
out the way.
Cabbage, all the good stuff. Rice.
That what's up? Vegan meals, man. Hook it up. I would look at some recipes.
It's not vegan though.
Oh man.
But, yeah.
Screw his cookbook. Just playing, big dog.
My mom's in the chat. What's up, Mom?
Oh, shout out to Mom. Shout out to Mom for sure.
Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you.
Loud applause too.
That was very well. That was very loud one too.
Yeah, right? She deserved it.
I'm here for it. Yeah. Quick take though. We went long on this topic than what I initially planned to.
Yeah, I mean it was a deep topic though. It was a good topic.
It was deep. I just love what I said. Hold on real quick, y'all. So what do you think? Best coaching hire, quick take. Out of all the coaches that were hired, which one you think is the best if you had to choose?
This is a tough one. I think the best one,
I like that.
I think the best coaching hire, if I just had to pick one, I'm gonna say Kevin Stefanski in Atlanta.
Oh God. Yo, that's the same thing.
Vegan, just go eat grass. And you know what? This is how people treat vegans too when they don't know really how to, they don't really know how to put stuff together. You go places, they be like, well, I got salad. I'm like, you got lettuce? Like, come on, man. Like, stop. Like, I eat food, it'd be crazy. I'm like, I just bring my own stuff. Don't even worry about it. I'm good. I'm used to this by now.
I'm done.
I'm not saying Kevin Stefanski because I'm a Kevin Stefanski supporter or anything like that. I really am not. And I'm not saying it because
Usman Zada said the same thing, Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah, I'm not saying it because I'm from Atlanta. Right. It's not on the roster. I like the guys that he brought in on his coaching staff as well, from the Bill Callahan to work the offensive line. He brought Van Pelt to come be the quarterback's coach. I like that. We'll see what Tommy Reese does on this go around. We'll see about that. They already had Albright already in-house to be the defensive coordinator, and he's already familiar with those players. So can you develop Michael Penix? This is what his job is going to rely on. Can Penix stay healthy, and can you develop Michael Penix to being all-pro quarterback? If you can do that, then your job is well done. But all the pieces are there on offense and defense, and so playoffs is going to be the key this next season for the Falcons. It's not no wait and rebuild. The team is built. It's about results right now. So, I definitely think Kevin Stefanski is the guy for the job, and I like what Matt Ryan has done so far. The book's still up on Matt Ryan. This is the first time he's been in this position, so we're going to see. But I think I like the hire, and I believe right now, if I had to pick one coach as the best coaching decision so far, I would say Atlanta with Stefanski.
The easy one, I think, would be to go with John, right? John Harbaugh coming to New York. And I think I'm excited to see how that turns out. I'm going to actually go with Robert Saleh. I'm going to go with him in Tennessee. I like him. I'm glad he got a second chance. To show that show he can be a head coach. Hopefully, it works out this time. I like the energy that he's bringing. They have Cam there. I'm excited to see what happens with Cam next season. He takes like that second year jump. The way some have as of late. I think overall I'm excited most about that one. So yeah, for me right now, that's my best coaching hire.
I think that was a good hire as well, especially considering I think Brian Daboll went down there to be the offensive coordinator. He's gonna get to work.
He liked the mobile quarterbacks,
Right, and we see what he did with Josh Allen. Maybe he can duplicate those results with Cam Ward. They're two different type of quarterbacks. They're not the same type of quarterback, but they are quarterbacks. And Dayball's job is to develop this quarterback and put an offensive system in place that can help Cam Ward thrive. If he can do that, then and then Robert Saleh working the defense. We already know what he brings to the table when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. Tennessee could be a real player in the AFC South.
He has speed and violence. That's it.
Yes.
That's how they come in next season.
He had a good defense.
Have good speed.
Right. He had a good defense with the Jets. We know what he had a good defense with the 49ers in both tenures. I mean, we just saw what he did with a whole bunch of hurt players. His next man up mentality, and we still got a job to do. So I really like Robert Saleh as well.
Moving on. Me and you spoke about this briefly. What do you think about Paul George being suspended? If y'all do not know, Paul George was suspended for 25 games for taking some sort of substance. They have not released what the substance was exactly. I think it was that game. I forgot who they were playing. But I think when he hit like the 9 threes, it was like, hold on. Like you haven't looked this good in a hot minute. So come on back and give us that sample and let's see what's going on. And obviously, he got suspended. So whatever he's doing was doing. It resulted in him losing, I believe, $11.7 million in totality with 25 game suspension. But he said, he had been dealing with some mental health. I guess recently, past few years. I'm not exactly sure how long. What did you think though about it? Do you believe that he's dealing with mental health?
It's commonplace in the league where if you have a really good game, I'm talking about an outstanding game, off the charts type of game, in any league, that you're gonna get drug tested the next day. That's just commonplace. I wasn't necessarily a big fan or a big supporter of Paul George. He's not my cup of tea. But
as a player or a person?
Just all of it. The player. Okay. I mean, most of the player, because I don't know him in person. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's a great guy. He probably is a stand-up guy. Just as far as a player goes, he really ain't that guy like that. But he always wanted to be that guy. He always wanted to be up there with the Kobe's and the LeBrons. But no, you're a notch below those guys. You're not those guys. You're not a KD. You're not in that class, bro. You're a notch below that. But he had all the confidence in the world. I lost so much respect for Paul George. I lost respect twice. I lost respect because you got caught using PEDs. I understand you've been hurt the last couple of years and you want to be out there on the court. And so you use some PEDs so that you can go out there and be accountable for with your team. You want to contribute. But you got caught. And then I lost a whole lot of respect when he started talking about he has mental health issues and this is why you're on PEDs. Bruh, come on, bro. Don't use mental health as an excuse for why you're on PEDs. Because there's a lot of people out there who really suffering with mental health issues, and it's a lot of people. And I have a problem with this. There's a lot of people who using mental health as an excuse for why they're doing crazy things, from murdering people, raping people, beating people up. Now taking PEDs. I don't think mental health should be used as an excuse, especially if you haven't been pre-diagnosed as having mental health issues. All of a sudden you get caught doing some foul and then you saying, well, I got mental health issues. I just don't respect that. And I don't got no respect for Paul George. None whatsoever. I don't care if he ever plays, dribbles the ball another minute in the NBA. I don't want to see him no more.
Okay. I'm on the opposite side of it. Mental health is real. That's the first thing. And I don't know what he's been dealing with. Maybe he has been dealing with some mental health and didn't tell anybody about it. Like some people are open with it. Like DeMar DeRozan has been open. about some struggles that he's
Right.
had in the past and things, especially when his dad got
Paul
sick.
George has too. He's been
You
open
know.
with it.
Oh, okay. So this is on record then. Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
okay.
He's been
So
open with it in the past, but that don't give you
okay.
no excuse for using.
Well, no, I
You've
mean,
had these issues for a long time, and this is the first time that you got caught using performance enhancing drugs.
I also
Don't
will
blame it on
say,
mental health.
well, I mean, for him, I don't like I said, if he spoke about to the past, I don't know if it got. It's possible it could have gotten bad recently with him being injured and different things like that. Whatever he was dealing with in the past, it could have
Right.
came back to the surface. It could have it could have he could have been fine for a while, because mental health, anxiety, different things, they come in these waves, sometimes, and it's hard to control it, from my own personal experience, with anxiety. But I will say I feel like sometimes this is why I think sometimes black men don't want to come out and talk about certain things, because the minute you do, it's kind of like you get a little bit ridiculed. Now, I know it seems like it's an excuse, like, dude, come on now. Like, you got caught, taking steroids or whatever it is. Allegedly, I don't know what he was taking or took. But there is a lot of pressure, I think, that we don't talk about sometimes as it pertains to black men, even the ones who in the NBA, NFL, you're trying to hold on to your career. Respectfully, it has not
Right.
gone well the past few seasons. Like you've been injured. You got all this money coming from, LA. When you're trying to, you're not ready to hang up your hat just yet, but it seems like your body's like it might be time for you to hang up your hat. Hit the jersey out the way, dog. You know what I mean? Um, there's pressure with that, when you're
Right.
trying to still be the caliber of player that the fans are like hacking you about there in your comments, like podcast P, lazy P, people all kind of different nicknames. They see it in the comments, and then you have, you got a wife, you got kids, you got a lifestyle, you take care of your parents. I think his parents are sick. I remember people saying last season he had parents, I think, back in LA. One of the reasons why he didn't necessarily want to go. Up to Philly because he has parents who are sick. So I don't know if he's paying a medical expense and things of that nature. And something else to also consider if he is. But it is pressure. When there's so many expectations, and you'd like to think that being an adult, because I think he's in his 30s now, or close enough, mid 30s, somewhere in there. You like to think that you're grown. You know what I mean? Like put your big boy pants on and just deal with it and chuck it up and and do your job. But everybody's not built like that. Some people, like they have the moments of weakness, and the pressure is real, when you feel like you're failing or not being your best, or you can't play your best, you're really trying, but your body's like, it's not happening, to pop them steroids, if it's what he's taking or whatever he's taking, to still be able to perform at a high level.
Right.
So I'm gonna give him some grace with this. It may not be a popular opinion. I'm gonna give him some grace with it.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm just more about accountability and honesty. If you get caught with something, just say, "Hey, man, I was hurt. I was trying to stay active, man, and I took something that I shouldn't have took. My bad, but I did it. I'm like, okay, that's real. What I'm saying, I can respect that. But to get caught and blame it on having mental health issues, I just think that's low. That's very low. He does
Assuming
have.
that is, but if it's true, but is it still low?
Yes, it's low because you're blaming your mental health issues on you taking performance enhancing drug. Those two things don't mix with me. Like you having mental health issues and you taking PEDs they're not they don't go together.
Well, again, I'm gonna say
Clay
here,
Thompson
my
has mental
channel.
health
I don't know
issues.
what they
Kevin
claim,
Love
what he's
has
taking,
mental
because
health
they haven't said
issues.
it.
I haven't seen Clay Thompson fail one drug test yet. I haven't seen Kevin Love fail one drug test yet.
That's
As
what
of
I'm saying. Like
DeMar,
we're
DeMar
comparing people.
DeRozan
That's
haven't
what we're
failed
saying.
one drug test
Everybody
yet.
does things differently. Like how
Right.
DeMar DeRozan deals with whatever setbacks he may have in his life are not going to be the same as how Steph might deal with it. LeBron,
Right.
KD, whoever. You know what I mean? Like we don't know Paul George and what he's going through off the court that made him feel like he had to take whatever he was taking, to deal with it.
Right.
You know
That's
what I
what
mean?
happens. People who cheat, they do it because they're under some sort of pressure to perform at a certain level. So they decide to cheat. And I'm pretty sure they all dealing with some sort of pressure. And they, but you at the end of the day, you have a choice to make. Do I take this pill or do I not take this pill? Just like he left his family in LA to go to make more money in Philly. You could have took less money and stayed at home with your family if you needed to take care of your mother. You decided, I'm gonna go to Philly and get this bag. Okay, that's a choice that you made as a man. So, like you make these choices. I got mental health issues. I play in the NBA. I know if I take this pill, I'm gonna get. If I get caught, I'm gonna be suspended. Let me deal with my mental health another way. I got doctors around me. I got the capital to get the best therapists, to get the best doctors around me who understand that
you and
this
I
is
both
the
know, like
list.
a lot of times black men don't feel comfortable talking to therapists. You know what I mean? Like they feel like, from what I've heard different people say, I don't know about, Paul George specifically, just,
Right.
they feel like I'm nah, I'm like, I'm supposed to be a man. I'm supposed to be able to deal with it and be tough, like we don't go to no therapist, I don't know how he was raised, but some people are
Right.
like, my mom was like, my dad was like, you don't cry, we don't cry, suck it up,
Right.
deal with it,
Right.
like that's that. If he comes from that kind of background where talking about your feelings is not something that you typically do, show vulnerability, then I can understand why. And that's not just speaking about him. I'm just talking about how you're raised in general. If you grew up like that with a father or a mom who was hard, and it was, made for you to be the man of the house, be a man, like toughen up, like we don't cry, suck that shit up. You know what I mean? How sometimes men are really rough, with their sons. That could be why he's like, I'm not gonna, or he don't feel comfortable going to someone like a therapist, although he has the means and the money to do it.
Yes, and you're around a lot of athletes, and a lot of athletes have sports psychologists, black, white, or indifferent. Like it's just it's a part of the profession. It's like, and then we're in 2026. This is not 1980 and 1990 anymore. We're in 2026. It's more openly accepted to seek therapy now. The black people have finally got to a point where it's okay. We realize we were tricked all those years. It's okay to go seek therapy. We do have mental health issues that we need to go talk to somebody about, and that's fine. Nobody's gonna ridicule you because you went
But
and
do
saw
you feel
a
like that
therapist.
though? We know that people nowadays are being more open about, like when Caleb, for example, when he jumped in the crowd with his mom, because he was like, that was the moment, he was emotional. He wanted his mom, he wanted the comfort for his mom. Everybody was kind of making fun of him. It's like, dude, like you can cry, but don't do it on camera,
Yeah, don't
wait
do
till
that.
you
Don't
go
do that
back,
on camera. Yeah.
So it's like
That-
on one hand, we're like, like it's okay, go speak to somebody, go do this. But then when you see someone like Caleb, who wants the comfort of his mother, that is his mommy,
right.
it's like, dude,
Right.
like don't do that. They kind of making fun of him. That combined with the nails and everything else, it's one thing for us on the outside to say, well, dude, you got the resources to go here, to go there. They got all kind of people around you, but if he was raised in a way, even if he wasn't, where something about him doesn't feel comfortable enough to go and share and be open in that way, it's hard.
I feel that.
Like,
I when it comes to his mental health issues, I don't knock it. It's nothing new. He's been having mental health issues. I have no problem with, if you want to go seek help or you don't want to go seek help. That's all up to you. My only thing is, don't cheat. Don't take these drugs and then come back and tell us you took these drugs because you got mental health issues. You've been having mental health issues. You've been dealing with them some kind of way. Now all of a sudden you won't take these drugs, and then instead of saying, where I wanted to be there for my team. I've been dealing with injuries. I took this drug hoping I wouldn't get caught, and I got caught. That's my bad. No, say that. Don't come out and say, well, I got mental health issues, so this is why I killed my whole family. Like, no,
so,
I don't do that to me.
Whoa, that's
do
a
that to
whole
me.
other situation. Now, if we're talking about somebody that does that, like people, when they be hearing them voices, that stuff is real, y'all, all right? Like
Yeah.
people who are schizophrenic and they hear these kind of voices tell them to do this, do that. That stuff is real. But just talking about podcast P, not psychopath P. Not making light of anybody's situation, y'all. Respectfully, we don't know. I mean, I don't know what his mental health issue was back then, if it ever went away, or if it's something that's happened recently, or perhaps going through all the injuries and having the setbacks that he's had
Right.
has caused it to to heighten in a way
Right,
to
correct.
get worse. That is a possibility. Like I said, I don't know exactly what his mental health issue is. Um, but it's possible. I feel like we're just kind of writing it off because he hasn't mentioned it as of late. It's like, well, you haven't said that before. You haven't said that before. It's like, does he have to say it? Hey, I'm Paul George, and I take I take Xanax or whatever, twice a day. Like
Right.
this like make that announcement. No, and he could have been. I don't know. Last time he was drug tested, he could have been doing this for a while and just finally got caught. You know what I mean? But
They have a list. They have a list of banned substances that
yeah, I
you
know.
just
I
not
heard
put
about
in your
that.
body, and it's you responsible for whatever you put in your body. I don't care who you are. If you go to the club and a young man offer you a drink and you just get the drink, you drink it. You responsible for that drink. Now he might have put something in the drink. You got to be responsible for whatever you put in your body, whatever food, whatever drink, whatever medicine. You are responsible because this is your temple, and you have to guard it with the highest of respect that it can be guarded at. And so he know what he put in his body, and
He definitely knows. We don't know, but
you know that it was on the banned substance list.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take accountability for that. I just don't want you to blame mental health for it. I just want you to say I messed up. That's my bad, But I hate that he has a mental health issue. He deals with depression and those type of things. I want him to get better. I'm glad he's open. Right. I'm glad that he's open about it. And I hope that he can continue to get all the help that he needs to deal with his mental health issues. But this ain't the way, bro. This will have you kicked out the league, and that's what he headed. It's possible that Paul George never plays basketball ever again.
I think he'll be back. I don't think he's gonna leave like this. Men should never be vulnerable. And then, first you said open, not vulnerable. Men should never be open.
No, he said men should.
He should never. He said never be vulnerable first, and then
he's saying they should be open but not vulnerable.
Yes, I'm asking.
Which I would agree with to a certain extent. I would agree that everybody at some point can be vulnerable. Men, because of the nature of what we're supposed to do and who we're supposed to be, should not be openly vulnerable. Because that's the quickest way to be attacked, and you're in survival mode at all times. But to be open, yes, I think it's good to be open and let people know I'm dealing with something that I need to, get taken care of, because I don't want to just be out here. Let me see, what's the word? Compromised. So yeah, I get what he's saying.
I mean, maybe I'm not a man, so I don't get it. I don't mind a man being open. I'm not saying he has to be open like like freaking 7-Eleven. You know what I mean?
No, it's good to be open, but not vulnerable though.
No, I'm saying I don't mind either. I'm not saying that the man needs to be open like with everything, share all his business, and how he carries himself. I think it's a time and a place. Be mindful of who you're opening yourself up to.
Right.
Don't trust everybody. Because I damn sure don't. I don't mind a man being vulnerable either. I think it's healthy for a man sometimes, not all the time, to show that you're vulnerable, because that's real. Like we all can be vulnerable at times. Some are more vulnerable than others, but that's a natural. We're human beings, like men, women, whatever, like you identify as nowadays, you still have human emotions. Those things are real, and I just, like I said, I'm just giving him grace here. I could be completely wrong. He could be lying through his teeth and just wanted to cheat, and put up 9 threes, or drop 40
right.
You
gotta
know,
get that money, man.
But there's a lot of times, we make light of situations, and then something happens and we're like, man, like he really was going through. Like I feel really bad, and that's what I try to keep in the back of my mind as well. I had a ex-boyfriend years ago, y'all. Little sister, she was perfectly sweet, like in like high school. I mean, she was younger, sweetheart. She used to come home, do her homework, cook, all the things. Out of nowhere, like everything just changed. Like, and she was bipolar. But up until that point, it hadn't kicked in. Like nothing was showing up, nothing. She was taking the medication. There was nothing wrong. She was a perfectly normal, healthy young lady. And then out of nowhere, I don't know what triggered it, what did it, and then she was just staying out, not coming home, hanging out with boys, all kinds of different things. I was like, wait, what the heck happened? And I was living there. At the time, I'm like, how that? Like, I didn't. It just never made sense to me. But mental health sometimes don't make sense. The way things happen sometimes. How they come about, when they come about, what triggers it. Age. Different hormones or whatever. Certain circumstances that you're in. You never know what somebody's dealing with. So I just try not to I try to be open-minded to the fact that it's possible that he really is dealing with something, and that's why he was taken.
Oh yeah, I believe he's dealing with something though, and you're correct. We have to be patient with people, especially when we don't know them. A person can be going through anything. So you gotta be as patient and as kind, and you try to get along with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people are going through the most, and you have no idea.
You never know. Yep.
Right.
That's true. You never know. You never really know. I think about that Dallas Cowboys, that last game where he got his first touchdown. And then a few days later, I'm like, wow, you wouldn't have ever known. Things came out obviously after he passed away, but you would never. People on the team, they were completely caught off guard. Like they didn't know that he had that history of dealing with different things. And
yeah,
now you never know who you're dealing with.
Right.
Like
I didn't understand how the
the
team had no idea, and
Mm-hmm.
because you're on the team, they poke and prod these guys.
Mm-hmm.
These guys got to go through the rigors just to make it to the league. And for you to poke and prod, all the Wonder League tests, all the interviews, all the psychiatric evaluations you've done to have a player on your team, and you not know and not have him the proper help that he needed, I think the Dallas Cowboys dropped the ball on that. But that's another story. But
I mean, some people can hide it really well. You like, wait, what? She did what? He did what? Like, I saw them on the red carpet. I saw them do this, doing that. Like, oh, they're millionaires. Like, my son always thinks, like, if you're a billionaire, like, you could just buy a whole island like that you have the perfect life. Like, you can't be unhappy. I'm like, that don't mean nothing. Like, you can be completely miserable. He's like, miserable with a whole bunch of money? How is that possible? I'm like, because that don't make you happy. It makes your bank account nice and full. Like, you might have a nice house and multitude of different cars, but you can still be miserable and unhappy on the inside,
Yeah, more money, more problems.
Hold on. Post-Transatlantic Slavery Syndrome by Dr. Joyce DeGruy? Is that a book you talking about? A book or something?
Yeah, it seems to be a book.
One that you've read, that you said we should read it? Landmark 22? Paul George is 24. No, he can't be 24.
No, he's not 24.
Well, he's almost 32. I'm gonna say he definitely can't be 24. I know he can't be. Why would you want to be hurt? Being vulnerable is lowering your defenses. I don't know about wanting to be hurt. I'm just talking about being open enough and showing that, for me, it is a sense of vulnerability to put yourself out there on Instagram and say, hey, life has been kicking me in the ass lately. I've been dealing with depression. I'm not playing somebody I used to play, and I wanted to take performance enhancing drugs to get myself back together. That's very vulnerable. That's
right.
That's a lot, and everybody, some people can do that and say, look, I've been in an awful place. Like, I want to take my life. Some people can say it. Some people don't. Some people can't say it. Everybody's different. I'm just going to give him some grace with this situation, and I pray that whatever's going on will get better. I don't want to make light of it.
Well, you got time now to go get that situation taken care of.
I'm done. I'm done. Caleb Williams is 24. Yeah, Caleb is young. Caleb made a fan out of me. I'm going to give me a Caleb Williams jersey. Stop playing. I'm going to give me a pink case and everything.
Yeah.
No, I don't like pink. I like blue.
Yeah. Can't be in the hood with a Caleb Williams jersey. That's what you can't do.
He will never be in the hood. He ain't go up in no hood at all.
Yeah, exactly. So. Ain't nobody in the hood. Ain't nobody, there's a certain black person that will wear a Caleb Williams jersey.
Oh, see, now we're going again with the black people that sound like this and
No,
look
I'm
like
saying
this.
you got a
Look like
certain
that, right?
group, and not even black people. There's a certain people. There's a certain culture of people that will wear a Caleb Williams jersey. Outside of the women, I'm just talking about men.
Okay. All right, you guys. We're gonna close it out with this. All right. Super Bowl, you guys. Super Bowl. It is coming up a few days. Are you guys excited? I am. I'm excited. A little bit bittersweet. You know, we about to have some new champs. We're gonna have some new champs. We're gonna have either Drake May or we're gonna have Sam Darnold, y'all. He's gonna show everybody that you were wrong about him and put some respect in my Birdman voice. Put some respect on his name after Sunday. How you feeling about it though? What are your predictions? Like what do you expect? What do you think is gonna happen?
I think it's going to be a close game. I think both of these teams are evenly matched. I think this is a perfect Super Bowl to kind of highlight that it is a team game. It's not, you don't have to have a top 10 quarterback. You don't have to have, the best player, but you have to have the best team, defensive, offensive, and special teams. And you have to have superb coaching. And when you put all those things together, along with a good
no
running
turnovers.
game, right?
No turnovers.
And don't turn the ball over. If you do
And
turn the
take your
ball
field
over,
goals.
right? If you do turn the ball over, make sure the other guy turns it over way more than you did. You know what I'm saying? But
take your points.
Right.
Take your field goals.
Right. Coach, that goes back to special teams and superb coaching. Like, don't go for it on 4th and 1, not get it, and then blame your whole coaching staff because you chose to go for it on 4th and 1 instead of to take the 3. Right. Like, that's on you. I know you got a reputation of being a great coach. You dropped the ball right there. That's your fault. Take accountability and move forward. So that's what this game is going to come down to. This game is going to come down to the running games, the defenses, which quarterbacks protect the ball, and which coaches, you're going to be in a situation where it's going to be 4th and 1. It's going to be 4th and 2. You're going to be on your side of the field. Are you going to take those 3 points? Do you believe that only way we're going to win is we got to get 7, so we're going to go for it? These are going to be huge decisions that are going to be made, and that's what this game is going to come down to. I like it to be a close Super Bowl, 20-17. I'm going to take the New England Patriots by, barely. And only
by
reason
field goal?
Yes, by a field goal. And I'm only giving them that because I believe in Mike Vrabel a little bit more because he's actually played in these type of games and he's a great coach. So I'm just, but it wouldn't surprise me if Seattle won this game at all. I think Seattle are very deserving to be there. I think they are capable of winning, and I think they have all the pieces too.
I mean, well, the other day they were talking about, I didn't listen to like what the extent of his shoulder injury. Drake made it talking about his shoulder, was something's going on with his shoulder.
Right, it was sore.
I don't know how serious it is. He's going to play, obviously. I don't know how serious it is, though. Guess we'll find out. Like if we see him out there looking like way off. For me,
no excuses.
I just want to see a good game. I don't want to see refs get in the middle of it. Like let them play. Let something like egregious happens or whatever have you. Let them play. And if you're gonna throw the flag out, do that the whole entire game. For the life of God, like, oh my gosh, do not let them play the whole game. And then out of nowhere, the last 3 minutes, you're gonna start throwing out flags and penalties. Like
the refs got a job to do.
Then do it Then do it. But be consistent with it. Like don't pick and choose. Like don't stand the whole time and watch them pull, tug, rough the passer. And you don't say nothing at all. And all of a sudden, you're like, I'm roughing the passer. When it's like 2 minutes left and it's a tie game or something. Because now you potentially change the outcome of the game. Like let them play through it. You know what I mean? And whoever wins. I got the Seahawks though.
Yeah.
I'm really rooting for Sam. I'm hoping that he can shut everybody up. My thing is, I think that Patriots defense, I want to see what they're really made of because, everybody's like, well, the defense is good. Don't get me wrong, but they haven't really faced a good offense. Like they've played, a hobbled, Chargers team, and then, you faced C.J. Stroud, in the limited, very limited, Houston's, offense, and then you had, your backup QB and then a snowstorm, so there was a lot of different things going on. Now they still won to their credit, but it wasn't really very challenging for the defense in terms of the offense they were going against. So I'm curious to see how, this will be a big challenge for them. I think, and we're going to see, because I think Seattle's going to come ready.
Oh, Seattle definitely is going to come ready. Both of these teams are prepared to be in the spotlight,
Who's your X factor?
I think
each team.
I think the X factor for both teams is the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks are the X factor.
I agree.
I can trust the running game from New England. I can trust the running. I can trust Kenny Walker. I can trust Jackson and Jigba. I can, I can trust Gonzalez and the guys on the back end for the Patriots. I can trust the defense of Seattle. The X factor is, can these quarterbacks play a clean game? Can you have a high completion percentage, which Drake May had the best completion percentage this season? Can you not turn the ball over? With Sam Darnold showed throughout the year that he struggled at times with turning the ball over. This is not going to be the game to do that. This is going to be the game where I need you to play a clean game like you did against the Rams. If Sam Darnold puts up the same numbers he put up against the Rams, I believe the Seattle Seahawks will win the football game. If Drake May plays the same way he played against the Houston Texans, they're going to lose the football game. It's just that simple. So the X factor is going to be the quarterbacks, because like you said, Drake May really hasn't put on a great performance in the playoffs. He hasn't. I mean, he's been getting by, So this is not going to be the game where you're going to be allowed to get by. You're going to have to perform. You're on the biggest stage of them all. So we're going to see if you're ready to go out there and prove that, you're ready to take that next step.
Yeah, we're going to see. I agree with you. I do think the X factor is going to be the QBs on both sides. Who's going to make that one extra play? Who's going to make that one extra play, that one extra run, or, that whatever it is to extend the play, or, whatever it may be. So, yeah, I agree with you on that one. I have no argument on that. Let's go Patriots. Okay. All right, I'm going Seahawks, y'all. So we're going to see. And we'll be back here next week to close the season out.
Yes.
All right,
just about everybody in Atlanta is riding with the Seahawks. They
really?
do not like the Patriots in Atlanta. Ever since that 28-3 debacle, they do not like they do not like the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna be a good Super Bowl. I look forward to it.
Who's ready for the halftime show? If y'all watched the Grammys last night, y'all saw Bad Bunny. I think he won an Artist of the Year, or so. I'm curious to see, like, what he's gonna. He won, I think, Album of the Year. Excuse me. The first time someone won Album of the Year, that was in a different language. It was in Spanish. So, whole album in Spanish. So, we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
I don't know.
I think he's gonna. I mean, the first thing he said when he got this award was "Ice out." Like it's ice out. So I think he's gonna do something to bring awareness to that. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think. I know Donald Trump said he ain't watching. I might be with Trump on this one. If I see Bad Bunny come out there with a dress on, I'm done. I'm not gonna watch it. Bad Bunny has some decent music. I'm not a Bad Bunny detractor. Actually, I like Bad Bunny. He has some decent music. I don't know his whole catalog or anything like that. I just know a couple songs that I've heard that I like. And he went to wrestling a couple years ago, and he performed really well in the ring. Like, to be an entertainer, like, he really pulled it off. He really looked good, in the wrestling ring. So, I kind of liked him from that. But this stuff where you put on dresses and all that kind of stuff, like, I'm out on it. Like, I can't do that. So, yeah, I don't like the halftime shows being that political, but that's just where it is. I mean, we saw it with
the climate we're in right now is kind of hard to ignore.
Right. We saw it with Kendrick Lamar just last year. It wasn't overly political, but it was somewhat political. You know, I liked his message that he delivered, but I don't like it to be. I like entertainment at the halftime. I don't like it to be over politicized. So
It was highly entertaining. Are
yeah,
you really
yeah,
about to do it? I was like, you're not gonna say that. You're not gonna sing that song because you're not
yeah.
gonna do it to Drake. You're not
But
gonna
see
do it to
that,
Drake on the main stage.
right?
You're not gonna do
But see,
it.
that
I was
wasn't
like,
even
how you
political.
gonna
That
do
was
it?
just beef. You know, that was entertain. That was the part I liked, the entertain. You know, he
It
had a
was
lot
just,
of
I thought that was
messages.
highly entertaining.
Right. He had a lot of messages within the entertainment.
He
So I
did. He did.
appreciated. I appreciated how he did it. It was everything was very calculated. So, you know, the entertainment has to come first. You know, and then if you want to add something in there, but you know, like the people I've seen, you know, greats that I've enjoyed from Rihanna to Prince to
Rihanna was
Mike.
kind of boring to me, and I love
Yeah, I
Rihanna.
enjoyed Rihanna. She was pregnant though, but she still,
She was,
you know,
yeah.
her catalog is just amazing. So,
It is.
they entertained. You know, they danced. They didn't make no statements. You know, Beyonce did her thing, but it was subtle. You know what I'm saying? You
I
know,
love 50 Cent Upside Down. Go.
right,
I
right,
was like, he's not hanging like he did in the video.
right.
I enjoyed that one too.
Do it subtly. You know, make it to where people who understand. Like, okay, I see what he did there, or I see what she did there. But to just be overly politicized, I don't. I hope that's not the case. Hopefully, Bad Bunny is strategic enough to get his message out, but entertain the people.
Well, I mean, it depends on. There's gonna be people that like it. There's people that not gonna like it. You know what I mean? Bad Bunny got a crazy fan base, so they're gonna be. It's gonna
Oh
be
yeah,
trending
yeah.
either way online, regardless. I would Kanye ruffled so many feathers. I don't think he'll ever get a chance to do it, but I would love to see him. Kanye got a crazy catalog too.
Oh yeah. He got a crazy catalog.
All kind
I
of
don't know. I
collabs.
don't necessarily want to see him do a Super Bowl halftime show
I would like to.
because he's too religious for me to do that. You know, like I said, I don't like these agendas that people try to do when it comes to religion and politics. That's the easiest way to divide people. You know, just entertain. You know,
Well, the world's already divided. Like, for the most part, like,
but people watch football and sports, and with sports entertainment, you have people from all walks of life, all different kind of political beliefs, all races, creeds, cultures. You know, whether you're queer, whether you're straight, they can all come together and enjoy this thing. You know, but when you start adding stuff in there, you know, this is why Tim Tebow didn't last long, because he just play football, but he wanted to be, you know, wear his religion on his sleeve, and that throwed a lot of people off. You know,
to me, if
it.
It bothered you, then that spoke more about you and your inner demons.
Yeah, but the NFL once again, the NFL is about making money.
You want to wear a cross? You want to put it on your chain? You want to put it on your
that's
arm?
one thing.
You want to put it on your face? Whatever. You want to talk about it? I don't have to listen to it. I can change my channel. You know what I mean? I don't have to wear your jersey. I don't have to come to your game respectfully if I don't want to hear it. You know, like for me, if you, even for somebody who's on the opposite side of things, like, you know, I make fun about Caleb with his nail polish or whatever have you. You know, but that's his business. You know, as long as you're not hurting nobody, you know, like for me, there's bigger issues in the world, and I'm like, so people, you want to be Republican, and you want to be conservative, liberal, whatever. Like, you know, your thing is, as long as you're not hurting nobody, you know, people are not being hurt by what you're doing. You know, that's to me, that's the biggest thing out of anything. You know, so you want to talk about God, you want Muslim, whatever. I don't care.
I agree with you on that. It's just that, you know, I understand what this beast is, and these folks about making money, and they don't want any divide. They want everybody to be coming here and spending their money, no matter whether you're Democrat, Republican, you're gay, you're not, you believe in Jesus, you believe in
you got fans who are in there yelling out all kind of, you know, crazy, racist, nasty things. They don't
the fans are the fans, but as long as the fans pay their money, as long as the fans pay their money, right? As long as the fans pay their money, they don't give a damn what the fans.
Were the fans not paying when Tim Tebow was saying? Were they losing fans when he was saying whatever he was saying?
Right. As far as the media goes, they were losing, you know, and that became an issue. They didn't want to even take the risk. So, you know, I mean, I didn't like it, but I mean, honestly, for me, I thought he was doing too much. I didn't like it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but I respected what he was doing because I said he's using his platform to get his message across. I can respect that, but at the same time, I understood that the NFL, it was a lot of people who didn't like that because there's a lot of people just don't ride like that, and you dividing people based on you make people feel small when you go out there and you try to make it like your way is the right way, and then the other way you're less than, and so that's how it came across. And the
Okay.
NFL didn't, you know, we might feel like that at the top, but let us get this money though. You're gonna see our actions in our hiring process.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna hire certain coaches. You know, we just talked about that earlier. We're not gonna bring certain players can't say certain things. We're not gonna do the same with Kaepernick. If you say X, Y, and Z and you start dividing people, then we got to get you up out of here. Regardless if you like this, some people gonna like his message, some people not. But we're not gonna do this divide thing. We need all y'all money to make this thing work. And that's why a lot of athletes don't speak up. Like Michael Jordan said, man, Republicans buy these shoes too.
I don't like him as a person anyway, so.
Oh yeah, he doesn't come across as having the greatest character. I heard a lot of Michael Jordan stories that were like, I can't believe this guy's this way. But you know, you look at who he
talented.
Yeah, you look at who he hang around though. Look at his crowd.
I can't mess with it. You know how I feel about people like, well, got the shady character, integrity. I'm like,
right.
I can't mess with it. You know, but he is still who he is in terms of, you know, NBA. Can't take that away from him.
Yeah. And I think at his older age, he's done a lot of things to try to, you know, put his reputation back together. I mean, he's done a lot of positive things as far as donate a lot of money to not only to the schools, but the hospitals. He's built hospitals for, you know, people with mental health issues in Wilmington, North Carolina. He's done a lot of things for the seniors. So at his older age, he started to put his money, you know, into a lot of he built a free healthcare clinic in Wilmington. I mean, he's starting to turn it around. You know, as you get older,
like a good typewriter.
Right. I mean, and it probably is. I mean, he know how to, you know, work the tax market. You know, he's a billionaire, but still, you can be a billionaire and not do these things. You know, you can put your money into a lot of different causes, and he's done a lot. You know, and a lot of these are free health clinics for, you know, people that look like us. So, you know, sometimes as you get older, you reflect back. You know, you did what you had to do to get the billions. You had to play the game. You had to be who you had to be, and now you got the money, and you on the latter end of your life, and you're like, okay, I can be this now. I can help these people now. So, you know, yes, I would like to see him do a lot of these things earlier, but you know, better late than never.
Yeah. Okay. All right, y'all. So let me get up out of here. On that note, see you all next week after the Super Bowl. DJ said Jordan built a free healthcare clinic. Yeah, I think Notty was just saying that. You know, I'm sure there's some people that could use it, so I'm not gonna knock him for it, you know. Whatever his intentions were behind doing it, whether it be, you know, honest or tax write-off, it's still help somebody. So I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, you guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. DJ, Prez, my mom is up here. Landmark, Big Dog. You know, the list goes on and on, man. There's quite a few y'all that came through here today. So shout out to y'all for coming and popping in the chat, keeping it going, keeping the conversation interesting with your comments and your questions. I appreciate you all. Anything you want to say?
I appreciate everybody, man, for showing support, showing love. Make sure y'all do what Mama Kata just said, you know, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, share with 1 or 2 people, let them know there's some real talk going on, you know, and use it as a conversation starter at your own event, you know. So yeah, appreciate that. Shout out One Man Cave on all social media platforms, YouTube, TikTok, and IG. And man, holla at me.
Holla at me. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful night. Stay warm if you guys are, you know, in my part of town. I'm in New York. I saw people in Atlanta wearing fur coats. I'm like,
man, these folks tripping, man. I tell you.
I was like, well, you got like 10 layers of fur. What's that? What's the weather down there? 52?
Yeah, 42 today, but it's gonna be in the 60s next week. Like, these folk be tripping, man.
Oh, yeah, come on, put the fur away. Stop.
It's a shame.
All right, y'all. Good night. Peace out, y'all.